This area has the monster from the Black Lagoon feel. You got a backed up creek covered in goo, algae, green goop, and it's pretty back in here. Plenty of nature sounds. It's just when you can't see into the water, it's got that cover of moss or whatever on it. It's hot. I'm out here on a public trail on Tellico Lake. It's a nice trail. I've never hiked this part of it. I was just, it's Father's Day, and I thought that a couple hours this morning I'd hike around. Oh, back up here. There's a roll off. Sorry about that, but as you can see, it's hot. A couple things. My last video, my son said, "Look like you big crying." I said, "No." I had literally just finished a walk, probably a little over an hour. I walked 4 miles. That's 15-minute miles. That's hoofing it. And then I went out back, and I hadn't showered or just started to cool off. And then I don't know what type of plant it was, but allergies, eyes were red, I was sniffling. So just to reassure you, I'm fine. And I appreciate everybody who said all the kind words. It's really overwhelming. You don't realize, I'm just looking at a camera, and I guess you never realize how many thousands of people are behind this camera and that are genuinely concerned for your well-being, and I appreciate it more than I can say. God's truly blessed me with a good family and friends, and those out there on YouTube and Facebook and all these other platforms that are truly friends and concerned as much as you can be through this electronic stuff this technology we use now. But I do appreciate it more than you know, and it means a lot, so thank you. I wanted to touch on something. How to say this? I guess the best way to phrase this is why I don't trust the Sasquatch people, and or the Sabe. Steve likes to call them the Sabe, the Sasquatch. Forest people, bush people, woodland people, wild man, whatever you want to call them. I agree. I don't like the word Bigfoot. I think that was stuck on them on purpose, just like UFO was stuck on these unidentified flying things that wherever they're from, they could put a stigmatism on that word. So of course, now that it's accepted and the Navy's admitted and the Department of Defense has admitted, now they're calling them UAPs to remove the stigmatism. So I often wonder what they'll call the Sasquatch when they finally reveal its existence, or their existence. So anyway, why I don't trust the Sasquatch? First and foremost is because of their nature, their genetics. Now, I'm not saying all or 100%, but they are a Nephilim hybrid. They are a hybrid, and a hybrid that came from fallen angels. And so they don't have a conscience like we do, and they don't have the thought processes we do, and they don't have the moral standards we have. It's different for them. And like I've told people, I've talked to many people that have both dealt with mind speak, have been threatened by them, and have encountered friendly ones. But one of the things I'm convinced of, that when you encounter a Sasquatch, most of the time there's a thought process of what he can do in this situation. He can just hide and run if you've seen him, do different things. But in certain situations, I'm telling you, killing you's on the menu. Now it may be way, way, way down the menu, but it's still there. It's still something to be considered if the circumstances warrant it. And I'm here to tell you that if the circumstances warrant it in their minds, then killing you's the best option, and they're going to kill you. Okay, so, and it's hard for some people to swallow. And I'm not saying that's 100% you're going to meet. But the problem is, number two, the reason I don't trust the Sasquatch is you can't talk to them. They won't talk to us. Very rarely do they ever talk to us. Most of the time their communications is nonverbal, and it's in a way it's meant to run us off. So, and when you encounter one, I've said this 100 times, there's no sign on its chest, I'm a good one, or I'm, homicidal maniac. And I think we've learned enough to know that as diverse as they are, they have different personalities within their society. And so you have those who are unfortunately violent, and some that are even cannibals. So you got to understand that. So those are the two main reasons I don't trust them. And there are many people who have formed relationships and very close bonds with them, and that's great. And those are unique circumstances. But as a general rule, I don't trust them. It's like a trust but verify thing. I respect them because of their abilities and their power and what they can do. But I'm not in awe of them. I don't worship them. They're just, they're a created being, just like everything is in this world. Even the angels were created by God. So there's nothing, while I may be in awe of their power and their strength and their abilities to manipulate the ether and the world around them, it's not a worship them type thing. It's just like when you admire an athlete on the field that can run fast or catch a football or golf, or someone who can play the violin or a musical instrument, or who can sing. They have a natural talent, and you admire that talent, or you respect that talent. And that's kind of how I look at the Sasquatch. They have talents, and of course, that's something that you respect and are aware of, but you don't, worship it or all that crap. You just gotta, I treat them as on equal footing, and I talk to them, if I have to talk to them, with respect. And I always talk out loud. I don't use mind speak, never did, never will. Oh, I'm rambling. But anyway, that's the main reasons I don't trust them. Now, I did an experiment when I was doing my research. I had several people contact me that were in contact with them through MindSpeak, and so I asked the same, sets of questions. Who are you? Do you know who Jesus is? Basic questions. And what was disturbing is, some of these people were out in Washington State. Some of these people were down in Georgia, some in Tennessee, some in North Carolina. Trying to think where else. I want to say Kentucky, maybe. I can't remember. I'm old. But bottom line is, from all these different groups, I got different answers to the same questions. And that really bothered me. I mean, as far as who you are, we're your forest brothers, we're the sky people, I got, all kinds of different answers. We're the keepers of the forest, we were brought here by the star people and left here, we are Esau, we're descendants of Esau, so it's just, all kinds of different answers. And the interesting thing was, all of them denied knowing who Jesus Christ was, or Yeshua. And they would say they knew who God was, but they would never, they all acted, none of them said, we don't know who that is. So from my standpoint as a Christian, when they're denying the existence of Jesus, that tells me something. For those who aren't as, that's not an issue, that's fine, but those who are Christians will understand why that I guess that should be top of the list that bothers me, but as far as the spiritual side of it. So that's why I don't trust them. And that's why I recommend extreme caution when you're dealing with them. Extreme caution. You know, treat an encounter like you would a bear encounter, something like that. You know, don't run, but leave the area immediately if you encounter them, or if they're doing their whooping and beating on trees and throwing rocks at you and doing all the stuff that they like to do to scare you. Like Steve Isdahl says, if they wanted to get you, they'd get you. And you'd never hear them coming, and it'd be over. So if you're getting a display, then they want you out of the area. And trust me, nothing's worth your life. I mean, you know, you can always find another camp spot. I've done it. I've gone hunting before and been running out of an area and gone somewhere else. Same thing with camping. I've gone to do a remote camping one time on this lake and pulled into an area, and it was a beautiful day, beautiful place, and got out, and man, it was just, you could just feel it in the air. It was hanging in the air, you know, the pressure, the bad atmosphere, you know, the bad sixth sense was just like, you know, this ain't the place. And so packed up and went somewhere else, found another spot, felt great, and had a good time. So just I always called it following my gut. I think, you know, it's a God-given thing, and I follow my gut. And I encourage you to do the same. But regardless of where you're at in this thing, whether you're someone who's been dealing with them for 30 years and feel comfortable, or someone who just had one encounter, you know, treat them with respect, understand what you're dealing with, and just be careful. Just be careful. I get a lot of emails that, like I said, people still can't wrap their head around what we're dealing with. And so they ask questions that they're bothersome because the people are just ignorant and naive about what they're dealing with. So I want to do this. This kind of answers a few of the emails that I've been getting. You know, are they dangerous? You know, are they in this area? Let me say this. Yeah, a lot of people write me saying, I'm coming to the mountains. Are they in these areas? They're just about anywhere in the smoke. You could encounter, it's just like a bear. In the Great Smoky Mountains, you can encounter a bear just about anywhere in the mountains. It's just, you know, it's their habitat. And it's the same thing for the Sasquatch. Just have it in your mind, be prepared, know what to do, don't panic. You know, most of the time, remember, they're people watchers. So what they're going to do is they're going to come to the edge. Like if there's a big campground, a lot of children playing, a lot of noise, they're going to come to the edge, sit and observe and watch. That's 99.9% of the time what they're doing. And then, you know, every now and then somebody accidentally catches one, or out in the open, or one decides it's time, it's going to show itself to the children or whatever. And all I'm saying is be aware. You know, when your children are playing, keep them, you know, close to you where you can see them, because I'm telling you, if there's bears there, you definitely want to do that anyway. There are predators in the Great Smoky Mountains Park, regardless of what the National Park Service says, okay? They're there. And I'm not saying don't go. What I'm saying is just, when you go into an area, you see a sign that says, you know, be alert, there's been bears sighted in the area, then you keep your kids close. You know, all right, kids, we're going to play right here. And you're going to have adult supervision on those children all times. And it's the same thing if you're going into an area. I'm just sweating. It's a good sweat, though. God, it feels good to just get out here and sweat. I'm scratching the far out of my... There's a picnic table out here. It's made of concrete. Every now and then they just place one in a nice spot, you know, for you to rest at. Then I've got a mosquito that's trying his best to bite this camera. He just can't understand why he can't sink his little mitts into it. I've got bug spray all over me. I bathed in it. Already got a couple ticks off of me. Well, actually, I got a dead tick because he had already dosed himself up on the DEET and was just hanging off the hairs on my leg. So, but back off of rambling, back to what I was talking about. You know, supervise your children. You know, go where you want to go in the park. you know, and trust your gut. I mean, like if you go into a picnic grounds and it feels wrong, and your gut screaming at you, and you feel like you're being watched, go to another picnic area. There's gazillions. Trust me, or go to another spot. You know, maybe pick a spot in a different area. I mean, most of these picnic areas are huge. So, you know, if you're old, you know, you can go a quarter of a mile and still be in the same one. So if you go to one side and, you know, there's something creepy in the woods, go to the other. So, you know, it's not a throw up your hands, oh, it's lost thing. It's a common sense, and just, you know, just know that, you know, you can encounter a Sasquatch just about they can live just about anywhere, just like people. And just remember that. Their population is, I think, growing and a lot larger than many people realize, and would be shocked if we actually knew the exact number. And so anyway, I hope you all have a good Father's Day. I hope I look better. I feel better, and like I said, I'm exercising. Got some checking my legs again for ticks. I'll have to spray one more time. But you know, that's, you know, ticks are just like everything else. Mosquitoes, just spray and go on. But y'all have a good time out there. Use some common sense. Trust your gut, and I will talk to you later. This may be too long. I've got to do that. I've got that video, you know, where the backyard goes silent. It's pretty cool because it just goes dead, and for about 3 hours, and then like you turn the light switch on, everything comes back alive later, and it's just interesting, just the video, because you can, you know, I'm sitting there on my back deck in a city, and except for air conditioners cutting off and on, it's like I mean, it's dead. I mean, just like it happens in the forest, no different. Everything turned off, including the wind. And so that phenomenon can happen even in us, you know, anywhere. You know, we all think that happens out in the woods. Well, guess what? It can happen in the city. It can happen in a little town. Whenever these things show up or something like that, something shows up, even, you know, the birds, the crickets, they all react regardless of where they're at. There's no such thing as a city cricket and a country cricket. They're all just crickets. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I've got an hour to hike back out, and then I'm going to go store, get me something. I'm thinking about making stuffed bell peppers. And there's one of those false yellow jackets. They got a head like a, well, they're a fly is what they are, but they look like, they're colored like a yellow jacket. To kind of, one of God's little things to keep them from, you know, protection. And off he goes. As soon as they smell that deed on me, they take off. Anyway, everybody have a good Father's Day. Have a good weekend, and God bless you. And again, thank you everybody. Thank you everybody who sent me emails and left positive and comments. I really appreciate it. I do. You know, I'm overwhelmed. It's just you just don't realize. You feel alone, and you feel like no one cares. I mean, that's the old woe is me thing. Sometimes everybody gets that, and then you know, the response like I had happens, and it's just amazing. It is amazing, and I appreciate it, everybody. I really do. And again, thank you guys, and appreciate you. And we'll talk to you later. This is the Sobe monster of the Black Lagoon-ish. This algae moss, whatever it is, on top of the water. You know, something to jump out and get you. Look at that. The whole Land Lake Pond right there. Nasty. That. Creepy.